Hello, judges. My name is Carlos and I am from Baguio City. I am here to show you the power of the mind.
The lights inside the Ireland's Got Talent theater glow softly as the host steps forward with a serious tone. He announces a shocking audition inspired by the idea that hypnosis is real, now reimagined as the unbelievable story of a poor Filipino hypnotist from Baguio City. The audience murmurs with curiosity. From backstage, a thin young man walks slowly onto the stage. His name is Luis. He wears worn-out shoes, faded jeans, and a simple white shirt that looks borrowed. His shoulders are slightly hunched and his eyes keep darting toward the judges nervously. His hands are trembling so badly he keeps wiping them on his jeans. Luis bows deeply and introduces himself in a quiet, shaky voice. He says he is from Baguio City in the Philippines. He explains that he grew up in a tiny wooden house with holes in the roof where rain would drip onto his bed at night. He says his father drives a jeepney and his mother washes clothes for neighbors to earn a few pesos a day. He says he learned hypnosis not from school but from watching free videos on old phones at an internet cafe whenever he could afford a few minutes of internet. The audience grows silent. One judge leans forward with raised eyebrows. Another judge softly says, "Wow." Luis says he used hypnosis to help people in his village sleep better and forget hunger for a few hours. He says his dream is to earn enough money to send his little sister to school so she does not have to beg on the streets anymore. The host gently asks if he is nervous. Luis nods and smiles shyly. He says people laugh at him back home and say hypnosis is fake. The judges exchange looks. One judge folds their arms skeptically. Another judge smiles kindly. The third judge says, "All right, Luis, show us what you can do." The audience claps politely but uncertainly as Luis takes a deep breath and steps to the center of the stage. Luis asks if one of the judges would volunteer. There is a pause. The audience waits. Finally, one judge stands up and walks toward the stage. The crowd cheers. The judge sits on a chair in the center. Luis thanks them and asks them to relax and breathe deeply. He speaks softly, slowly, telling the judge to focus only on his voice. At first the judge laughs nervously. But slowly their shoulders drop and their breathing changes. The theater becomes quiet. Even the audience stops whispering. Luis snaps his fingers gently and tells the judge their arm is becoming heavy like stone. The judge's arm slowly drops to their side. Gasps ripple through the crowd. One judge at the table covers their mouth in shock. Luis then tells the judge that when he counts to 3 they will forget their own name. He counts softly. 1, 2, 3. The judge looks confused and starts laughing nervously when asked their name. They shake their head and say, "I do not know." The audience explodes into shocked laughter and applause. Tears suddenly fill Luis's eyes as he realizes it is working. His voice shakes as he continues. He tells the judge that they are now 5 years old and holding a balloon. The judge suddenly smiles like a child pretending to hold a balloon and giggling. One judge at the table starts crying in disbelief. Another judge whispers, "This is insane." The audience stands halfway up from their seats clapping and shouting. Luis snaps his fingers again and gently brings the judge back to normal. The judge blinks confused, then realizes what just happened. Their eyes fill with tears. They hug Luis tightly. The judge turns to the panel and says through tears, "This is real. This is absolutely real." The audience gives a massive standing ovation. Luis covers his face with both hands and starts crying hard. The judges stand up together clapping wildly. One judge wipes tears and says they came in thinking hypnosis was fake but now they believe completely. Another judge says they are overwhelmed by Luis's talent and heartbreaking story. The third judge, already crying, says this is one of the most emotional moments in Ireland's Got Talent history. The host steps forward and hugs Luis. Luis keeps bowing again and again, whispering, "Thank you." One judge walks to the golden buzzer. The audience holds its breath. The judge slams it. Golden confetti explodes from above. The theater erupts. Luis drops to his knees sobbing uncontrollably. He presses his forehead to the floor in gratitude. The judges rush onto the stage and surround him in a group hug. One judge cries openly and says Luis just changed the world's view of hypnosis. The camera cuts to the audience. People are crying and cheering. A small Filipino girl in the crowd is shown crying and clapping wildly. It is Luis's little sister Anna. She keeps shouting "Kuya Kuya." Luis sees her on the big screen and completely breaks down again. He crawls to the edge of the stage crying her name. The host brings Anna onto the stage. Luis hugs her tightly, shaking with emotion. He whispers that everything he did was for her. The judges remain standing, clapping and crying. Soft music plays as confetti continues to fall. Luis looks up at the lights with tears in his eyes and whispers that this moment will save his family. The show cuts to backstage. Luis is still shaking and crying. He says he almost did not come to the audition because he had no money for the bus. He says a kind stranger heard him practicing hypnosis on a neighbor and paid for his ticket. The interviewer starts crying too. Luis says he wants to go back to Baguio City and tell his parents that their sacrifices were worth it. The episode ends with a montage of Luis performing hypnosis, the judges crying, Anna cheering, and golden confetti falling. A voiceover says sometimes miracles come from the poorest places. The final shot shows Luis holding his sister's hand, smiling through tears, walking off the stage together, proving that a poor boy from Baguio City just created one of the most unforgettable moments in Ireland's Got Talent history and showed the world proof that hypnosis is real.